Good day everyone, so today I'll be teaching you the dark arts of out of bounds exploration here. This is the secret endgame in Genshin Impact, and soon you'll be able to fly like Kokumi here. But as with all things, we first need to crawl and then walk and then run and then fly. So there's a bit of an art to all of this, so hopefully you'll excuse me, but I need to teach you a couple of things before you can really appreciate how to do it. So what is the situation here? Well, obviously Simulanka is out and it's a limited time event, and with the limited time event there are a couple of dungeons that are available, and in these dungeons you get the power of out of bounds exploration, because Hoyo kind of they force you to use trial characters, most notably being your Traveler, which you can just set to Geo Traveler, and Wanderer. This is literally the most broken out of bounds like duo you can find. Arguably Zhongli is also very good, but I'll leave him for another video. But effectively, just using some simple rocks and a guy with a hat, you can do some insane out of bounds exploration. And by the way, this also applies to the overworld in Genshin, so there are other spots that you can do as well. But here is your first trick, so I'm not going to stall any longer. What you do is you place the rock, and sometimes it'll fail, but effectively you want to find a very nice little gap here, place the rock on the Traveler, and literally just then jump through the roof. It's literally that simple. That is the tech. So that's how you can get out of bounds, and if you're like me, you'll explore and you'll climb on top and you'll be here with Nilo doing dances in a place that 99.999% of players will never reach. So this is the idea. Step 1, you use a couple of characters that are broken. Step 2, you break out of bounds. Step 3, you make a lot of mistakes and get teleported to a starting area. And then finally, step 4, you get to an awesome place to take pictures that you can brag on with on social media. Yeah, literally, that's kind of my whole spiel. Okay, so let's get to the main part of today's video. And that is, how do we break out of the Simulanka castle area? Because this is arguably the biggest out of bounds area in Simulanka that you can sort of go into apart from the overworld. But I like this place because there's a lot of exploration, there's lots of little secrets and stuff that we'll go over in this video. But obviously when you start off, there's a bit of a cutscene, and you can see here at the top left hand corner we're in a domain. And first of all, you can either break through the skybox, which is very difficult because, as you can see, Hoyo put in some countermeasures, and as a multi-billion-dollar company, obviously they would have taken every precaution to make sure that you cannot in any way possibly glitch through the roof. Yeah, that's kind of what we did. So yeah, well done there, Hoyo. But okay, assuming you didn't want to do this, but you wanted to do the classic route, what you'll do is you'll come up here with the Traveler, and you'll now notice that there's an invisible wall, and obviously the game takes it off, and instead of going on the straight and curvy path which is in front of you, you now want to go and do a bit of out of bounds exploration. Look at that juicy area way over there. But what you'll find is that you can't get there because there's an invisible barrier. You can see I'm literally, I can't get in there, and it doesn't matter where I fly, I eventually just like run out of stamina, and that's the end of my journey. And then you'll go to the second side, the left hand side, and you'll find it's the exact same situation. Except it isn't, and this is what's so crazy. So instead of using a glitch, we can use the very natural characters that Hoyo provided us. And now if you just do something very tricky, once you're like here at the top, you can go around the barrier. This is kind of bizarre. So the first time I discovered it was by accident, but I noted that Hoyo forgot to seal the two barriers properly. So there's almost like an invisible gap that they didn't notice during development. So yeah, this obviously means that you are now literally free to explore the entirety of the map. And because Hoyo, once again in their brilliant foresight, decided to force Wanderer into this event, we now have a character that can fly quite a big distance, and once Peace runs out of like flying stamina, you just go to normal stamina. So good job there, Hoyo. You guys literally gave us a character that can build constructs and a character that can fly. The combination of those two means that I can go anywhere on the map, except I can't, because well, this is the problem with out of bounds exploration. What sometimes can happen, and I did this very unintentionally the first time, is that you can sequence break some of the quests in the game. Now luckily this is a limited time event, so there aren't any real repercussions, but you'll notice here that I accidentally, whilst exploring out of bounds, got into an area where my character should have been teleported, but during this sequence the character dies, and suddenly, instead of being teleported to the relevant area, my character gets stuck in one area. And this is a big problem because suddenly the game is glitched out, your menu inputs don't work, nothing works, it's a complete mess. And that is a problem. So you can unfortunately break the sequence, in which case you'll have to restart the game. Luckily this is a harmless behavior, but it's what we in the industry would call politely an unhandled exception. In other words, the junior dev that coded this kind of fucked up, but let's not talk about that. Alright, so for the multi-billion-dollar company, we are going to give a multi-billion-dollar salute here with Kokomi and her beautiful glider, looking at a bit of the Simulanka area out of bounds. So this is typically where you would want to traverse and obviously go and fight some of the enemies. If I'm sure most of you are familiar with this, but from my perspective, look at how beautiful and gorgeous this area is. You've got lots of scenery. It almost feels like a dreamlike area, like Fischl's Castle, for those of you that remember it in the 2.8 event. It's just so damn cool. I really like this. It's kind of my favorite thing to just explore and to use my characters in a bit of a different way. And that's why I said in the beginning, this is like quasi endgame or another endgame activity where you literally are just testing the bounds and the limits of the game, precisely because you're a veteran explorer. You've seen everything, you've played every character, you've been there, and you need a bit of new excitement. And this to me is incredibly exciting. But in any case, let me not bore you. Let's go to some interesting areas. So if you go very far out of bounds here, you can get to one of the final areas in the story, but obviously since you are not supposed to be here, you actually get instead a beautiful view on the whole place. It almost looks like a kingdom, like a faraway kingdom, and with Kokomi's pastel colors you just get these gorgeous photos. It's so good. By the way, you might be asking, what the hell is Kokomi doing here? Short answer, I'm Kokomi clan. I just don't go anywhere without Kokomi, so you'll have to forgive me. It's pretty obvious how she's here. In any case, here are a couple of still photos because I forgot to record this, but there's another area that you can look at out of bounds. Nothing special. If you do get caught, you can also brick your game once again, and then you'll need to reset the entire area. I found some cool space-like places as well, but they weren't that particularly good for taking photos. So the best part is obviously right here at the top with Kokomi, and that to me is just so magical, so beautiful. It just fits the character, and that's why I'm making this video, because I hopefully would want to, well, I can't formally encourage you to do this, but for those of you that are brave enough to play the game a bit differently, because you are tired with Hoyo not giving you the content that you rightfully deserve, then, well, this is another way to play the game, and obviously an opportunity for you to get some unique experiences. Guys, that's been it for the out of bounds part. Use the Traveler Rock technique. There are a couple of places in the overworld you can break into Kokomi's house and some other funky places with it. You can break out of the chasm. There's so many cool ways you can use just the Traveler, but there are other like constructs and so on that can also allow you to bypass walls. From my personal perspective, I love doing this. It's a fun way to just play the game in an unintended way, and also to appreciate just exactly how much work the developers do behind the scenes, because a lot of these things you don't see, a lot of the considerations and where they have to place boundaries and stuff, it's a lot of hard work, and it's really cool to kind of have a bit of a sneak peek under the skirt, or under the hood, sorry, on that. Alright, enough cringiness. Thank you so much for watching.